Hello, I am Fred Dierksen, and I am the Superintendent of Schools for Dodge City USD 443. International Literacy Day is September 8th. This day is an opportunity for us to highlight the importance of reading and literacy around the world. In celebration of International Literacy Day, I would like to read a book to you. The name of my book is Butterfly Boy, and it is written by Virginia Kroll, with illustrations from Gerardo Suzanne. Emilio wheeled Abuelo, his grandfather, out into the sunshine, down the ramp that Papa had built. "Wait for me here, and I'll get a book," Emilio said, darting back inside. Mama and Papa said that Abuelo didn't understand words anymore. But Emilio was sure he saw a gleam in Abuelo's eyes whenever he read to him. He came back outside and pulled up a lawn chair next to Abuelo. Suddenly, Abuelo struggled to speak. He pointed with his good hand. "Abuelo, what?" Emilio asked. He followed Abuelo's eyes. 5 crimson, brown, and white butterflies fluttered around the garage wall. They lit, fanned their wings, and flitted about and landed anew. "Butterflies," Emilio said. He watched Abuelo's face while Abuelo watched the butterflies. Emilio knew that Abuelo was smiling inside, even though his mouth could no longer show it. Every sunny afternoon, Emilio wheeled Abuelo out. Together they watched the butterflies. After a while, Emilio got within inches of them. They let him stay near, as if they knew he would not harm them. Emilio's next-door neighbor, Mrs. Salazar, never called him by his name after that. She called him Butterfly Boy. When autumn came, the butterflies disappeared. Leaves of golden, brown, and crimson fluttered in their place. When the weather grew colder, Emilio wheeled Abuelo to the window instead, and he watched swirling snowflakes turn the world white and hungry sparrows gobble the toast crusts that Emilio tossed to them each morning. One day, Emilio came home from the library and yelled, "Abuelo, look at this." He opened a book about butterflies. "Remember our butterflies? They're called red admirals. And listen to this. They're attracted to bright white surfaces. They like the sun on them. That's why they're always on the garage, Abuelo, because it's white. They're hibernating now, but they'll be back in the spring, and we can watch them again." Emilio saw Abuelo's eyes glisten as he stared at the pictures of the red admirals. Spring blossomed, and Emilio told Abuelo, "Not much longer." One sweltering, almost summer afternoon, Emilio gazed out the window during math class. His eyes opened wide with wonder. 2 red admirals fluttered through the playground and over the fence toward Mrs. Cruz's petunias across the street. Emilio squirmed like a caterpillar until the dismissal bell. He raced all the way home. "Abuelo," he panted, "guess what?" He was going to tell him about the butterflies, but Abuelo began making sounds in his throat. "What, Abuelo?" Emilio asked. Abuelo pointed with his good hand. Emilio swallowed his words in a gasp. The garage was blue. Papa was painting it to match the house, which he had finished in the fall. Emilio sped Abuelo down the ramp. "Papa," he cried, "you can't." Papa's head jerked up. "Can't what?" His voice was sharp. "Paint the garage blue. They won't come back, Papa. They only like bright white surfaces. Can't you change it back?" Emilio pleaded. Papa took off his cap and wiped his brow. "Change it back? After painting all day?" Emilio saw frown lines on Papa's forehead as he replaced his cap and dipped his brush back into the can. He also saw the clouds in Abuelo's eyes. Emilio's shoulders slumped. He watched 5 red admirals flitting here and there, turning circles. They reminded Emilio of wilting leaves tossed in wild directions by autumn winds. Mama's laundry flapped gently on the line. Emilio watched as if he were in a trance. All at once he leaped up. Two clothespins sprang apart and flew to the ground as Emilio grabbed his bright white shirt and scrambled to put it on. Then he stood stiff and silent as a statue. 1 minute passed. 15 minutes. 20. One red admiral fluttered closer. It landed like a whisper on Emilio's shoulder. Soon there was one on his other shoulder and another on his chest. Mama came out to collect the laundry. She stood gaping as the basket tumbled from her hands. Papa finished his last blue stroke. He took his cap off and wiped his brow. Mrs. Salazar peered over her fence, clucking her tongue and shaking her head and wearing her broadest smile. Incredible, unbelievable, butterfly boy. Papa was startled. What? He said. Then he understood. Amelia heard Papa call to Mama. I'll be home in 20 minutes. Where are you going? Mama asked. Papa looked at Emilio and Abuelo as he answered Mama's question. To the hardware store for a few gallons of white. Garage needs painting. Save some for my fence, Mrs. Salazar called. It's about time I painted it too. Emilio tried hard not to laugh. He felt as if his heart would burst from his chest. He kept his head still so the butterflies would stay, but shifted his eyes to see Abuelo's face. The corner of Abuelo's mouth turned up, and his eyes danced and twinkled like twilight stars. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the book and will listen to it again with your family. You can find this story and other stories clicking the links below. While International Literacy Day only occurs once every year, let's celebrate literacy each and every day. Thank you.